If you guys haven't seen the Patrick Bet David and Tony Robbins interview, I really want you to go check that out. There was a point in the interview where Tony Robbins discusses where he trained high level shooters in the military. And one of the first things they did was All right, so we recently just started working out of our service email, and I'm super excited to get this started because how we had it set up prior is whenever, someone would send an email to me, I started the agency from scratch. So a lot of the policy changes, policy requests, COIs, all that renewals, all that stuff came to my email, and then my assistant needed to divvy it out to each person on our team. So one of the things we decided to do moving forward, which was a team effort, is using the service email for all client communications. So for internal use, the team still has their own designated email. We use G Suite, but for any client communication, we are only responding from the service email specifically. And what's really cool with G Suite, and I know there's different ways you can do this with Outlook as well. But what's really cool about G Suite is if you look at my screen here, you'll see there's a task list here on the right. And what we decided to do is if you look here on the top right, you'll see people on our team that have access to the service email. So what our assistant Daniela can do is every day she'll go through the inbox, and if she sees a service task that needs to be related to a specific person, she clicks on their name and drags and drops it into the task list. Now, when my team member Marsha goes to log in, she'll see, there's a completed DocuSign here. And if she wants to view the email, she just clicks a little button and it opens up right to the email that's assigned to Marsha specifically. Once Marsha's done, she can close out the task and then she'll be able to view it down here at the bottom. So I believe this is going to be the best way to handle those types of service requests moving forward. This way, my inbox isn't so cluttered. Like if you looked at my inbox now, which Daniela, helps me manage, we get every and any type of request in that inbox, carrier stuff, commission state, everything. So what we want to start doing is getting that stuff directly to the right inbox. This way, Daniela doesn't have to take the email, then send it to Ron, wait for Ron to see it, then do the task. Now, Ron just has access to service. He just logs in, sees he's got 3 emails assigned to him with COI requests. He can get it done. Marsha logs in, sees she has, a policy change, a vehicle change, auto ID card request, whatever it is. She can go in, complete the tasks, and she doesn't have to wait for somebody else on my team to see it in my inbox, then forward it. It makes the process much more smoother. And, let's be honest, if anyone were to leave, it does make the process a lot simpler of, okay, now I don't have to worry about them trying, a client trying to email a team member that is no longer on my team, right? So it helps from a flow standpoint, and props to Michael Cruz for helping me kind of build out this framework. And then I tailored it more to what fits, my team in G Suite a little bit better. I know Cruz is using, he's on the Microsoft stuff, which is amazing. I'm too far into G Suite now, so I can't go back. But I think this is going to be the most efficient way to run it. So I'd love to hear feedback from you guys in the comments below. If you have any questions or input, or you want to learn more about how our service inbox is managed specifically, I'd love to hear from you guys on it. All right, if you guys haven't seen the Patrick Bet David and Tony Robbins interview, I really want you to go check that out. There was a point in the interview where Tony Robbins discusses where he trained high-level shooters in the military. And one of the first things they did was in the training, they moved the target really, really close to the shooter. And then as the training went on over time, they slowly moved the target away. And one of the reasons he said they did this is because emotionally and mentally, it helps with your breathing. It helps you stay under control, and it's not so overwhelming, right? So think about this in sales, right? If you If you're doing commercial or personal lines, P&C insurance, and you want to make cold calls, whether that's cold calls to referral partners, cold calls to local businesses, whatever the case is, aged leads, you got to make some dials. You got to pick up the phone and you got to call people. And it can sometimes be overwhelming. Like you hear people that do 50, 100, 200 phone calls a day and how obscene that sounds, right? But how about you just start with 1 or 2 calls a day? And then in a couple of days, you go to 3 to 4, then 4 to 5, 6 to 7, and you slowly work your way up. And, that's something that our team has started doing. Like Marsha on my team, she's starting with calling 3 aged leads a day. And over time, we're going to bump that to 4 and 5. And this way, it's not so overwhelming. I don't want to say, hey, here's a new task. Go call 50 a day on top of everything else you're doing. It could be overwhelming. And that might not fit everyone's style, but that's something that's worked for us. And when I heard Tony Robbins explain it in that way for like how that helps shooters in the military at the highest level, man, that was just a profound interview. So if you haven't checked it out, I highly suggest you do so. All right, so we are at 195 star reviews. And one of the things I wanted to share with you is that we actually got our first 1-star review the other day. And I just wanted to share how I handled that process. So initially, I'm not going to lie, I saw the review come in and I was like, man, where did we drop the ball? And I was a little upset because it was the day after New Year's. And the person said we didn't call them back on New Year's Day. So I was baffled, honestly. I was like, I wanted to respond and explain myself, and I gave it a little time. I talked to the wife, who is much more in control with her emotions, and she said, "Hey, just wait a little bit, wait till your mind is clear, and then respond. Just apologize and think about what you can do to make it right." So we basically wrote back a response saying, "Hey, so sorry. That's never the type of service that we want to provide. I personally gave him my cell phone number. Please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you more about the situation and just walk you through the process and see what we can do to make it right." He called me on my cell phone about a couple hours later. We had a long discussion. I looked over his policies. He was great to speak to. I actually told him to keep his policies where they were, but I made a few recommendations as far as, hey, these are some coverages you should change around, but keep everything bundled and leave it where it is. And, maybe next year we can, try to come back and do something different. And I even, based off of his age and stuff, I even recommended him to a different agency. I said, hey, this might be a better carrier for you. You might want to check them out. Anyway, so an hour goes by and I look and he actually changed his review from a 1-star to a 5-star. So I wanted to share that because I thought it was a big win, but then I also thought, what a great way to handle bad reviews, right? At the end of the day, was the customer right saying, hey, I'm pissed because they didn't call me back the same day on New Year's? No, but at the end of the day, I don't know what he's going through. And I wanted to reach out, listen to him, hear what was on his mind, and see what we can do to make the situation better. So that made me super happy to be able to calm that situation down and turn a 1-star to a 5-star. So that was awesome. And then I wanted to share a little bit about how we go through our Google review process, right? Like, how do we ask for reviews? Like, our goal right now is to get to 200. We're 10 away. And one of the main things we do, it sounds silly, but like, we have the automation set up in our agency Zoom. And it's not just an automated email, it's also an automated text that goes out within 24 hours of writing a new policy. Okay, so that's the first part. And then the second part is we ask. And I got this from Stephen Turnbull. He asks a certain way for referrals. And we made sure whenever we're having a good experience with a client, we make sure to ask for the referrals. So it's nothing extremely complicated, but those are the two things we do.